Hello, and today I'll be looking at a deck I ran, not the full deck, but just some of it. Um, I ran recently, and some ways I might modify it. So, starting off, Lycanthrope. It's a ritual monster. It's level 6, 2400 attack, with the effect, if it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can inflict 200 damage times, or 200 per normals from your graveyard to your opponent on top of the damage. Really good card. Well, really, not necessarily good, but really fun card to use. Really enjoyed using it and try to work on its potential in the future. I've got 2 synthesis spell. This is the ritual spell needed to make Lycanthrope. We've got a Piercing the Darkness, which lets me draw a card if I normal summon a normal monster, or if a ritual or any extra monster, but ritual in this case, is made with a normal monster. I can, every battle phase, I can add the attack of the monster either I've declared into or the one declaring attack, add it to my monster until end of turn. Really useful to make sure Lycanthrope is hitting over things that are bigger than it. Used to then two of the normal monsters I used. Summon Skull, a level 6, he's one of 2 level 6s. Also you can just, in an emergency I could just make him, and he'll work with Piercing the Darkness. I just need one material, and a level 3, Giant Soldier of Stone, which did come useful in certain situations, particularly against something like Tenpai. I just set him, they hit in, and they're like, 2000 defense. And with some of the other cards I used, that was not enough to win, but enough to stall. One of the engine I used was Necrophaly and Terraforming, just to search it. But I had stuff like John Lockbird, Artifact Lancia, Power Filter. These are currently in another deck I'm about to test, which I'll discuss next week, hopefully. So the idea is you make sure normal monsters go to the graveyard, and you do burn 40 cards. I probably should have had some ways of searching out and adding to hand rituals, monsters and spells, but that's probably why I'd improve it. I was more looking at basic proof of concept. The other thing I'd probably do if I was building the 60 card deck again, I'd probably focus on just level 6s and level 3s, just for consistency. Using the grass is greener meant I got massive burn damage, but in the 40 it's little burn damage, but you're doing it so regularly it adds up and isn't as much of a problem. Yes, it was fun. It was cheap because I had a lot of normal monsters knocking about, and they're quite cheap anyway. The Lycanthrope I picked up at the game store I go to for 3 copies in their 10p box. Again, quite cheap, quite fun card to play with. Could have been, it does need to make it more consistent, but given I've not made a ritual deck like this before, it was a lot of experimenting, and I think I've got ways to improve, so I'll look at those in the future. So yeah, there's that. Normal monsters you can pick up quite easily, as I say. It was just literally you could put any hand trap you had if you didn't have certain things. So stuff like Ash Blossoms, Failures, anything like that. I don't think I've put Failures in personally, but yeah, it was a nice. When it worked with testing with people, it worked. Unfortunately, just didn't have the consistency enough I needed to make it work at locals, but it was a lot of fun. Caught people out, particularly with the amount of normal monsters, and it did make them have to think how they could get around piercing the darkness with Lycanthrope, because that did cause issues for a couple of decks. Excuse me. So yeah, that's that. So if you could remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below about either if you've got experience playing a deck like this, or if there's any obscure cards with some fun mechanics that you might like me to try in the future. Just let me know. I'll see you next time.